What's up, everybody? So I said that the last one I was doing was going to be the last one for the day, but then I just got motivated to do this one. I was thinking about EMO Girl, that song that I did yesterday from Machine Gun Kelly. This is not a slam Machine Gun Kelly thing. This is just, I was thinking about that song, and I kept thinking about this MC LARS song from 2006. And I wanted to cover this one just to show a little bit of where I was coming from on what I was reviewing that Emo Girl song, because I just think Lars has a very solid perspective on this situation. So we'll get into it in just a second. The song is called Signing Emo by MC Lars, and I'll get into it here in a moment. Two things before I get started. One, I am not a professional. I'm not an expert. I'm not a vocal coach, any of that. I just am a guy who likes music, and I have for a long time. Okay. If you're looking for an expert opinion, I'm sure they're out there, but those are going to be not me. Okay. So if you're looking for that here, you're going to be frustrated. My apologies. Part two, don't be a dick. That's actually part of MC Lars's whole ethos, I think. But for me, I try to be respectful. I try to be thoughtful. And I would just appreciate it if I get a little bit of that in return. All right. Let's keep it chill around here. With that out of the way, let's get right into it, and then we'll talk a little bit about the song afterwards. This is Signing Emo by MC Lars.
Once upon a time in the city of Los Angeles.
Marty, listen to me. Bring me something the kids will cry for. Get out there and get us stoked.
Meet Marty, major label A&R scout. 40 years old, gut hanging out. Red Ferrari Marty, living in LA. Bumps another town to get through the day. Dumped by his girl, he paid for her liposuction. His friends call him money in his introduction. And Marty knows nothing but claims to know it all. Lose a flat screen TV if he drops the ball. You're as good as your last hit, find the next big thing. If he doesn't bring the bling, his cell phone won't ring. What's the trend, what's new, what's a label scout to do? Office Life Marty, 1132. The label press calls and yells,
Sign more emo.
how about Screamo?
If it's L sign Nemo, we're down 2%. And BMG knows my daughter likes dashboard, so get me one of
He
those.
checks APNet, the scout and more. Yelling band names to his assistant through the door. The kids will like this, who cares if it's great? So he signs a band called Hearts That Hate.
Marty, we've got a hit.
Hearts That Hate. Marty goes to the show, up in the club, and here we go. Marty sees a girl in a simple plaid shirt with a census fail boy. That'll never work. He finds his label friends in the corner, they huddle. An emo cattle auction, they penetrate the bubble. They talk about victory and signing TBS. Dissing the same bands, they just try to impress. So the lights go down, the crowd starts to scream. Hearts That Hate have hit the scene. Blake on vocals and lead guitar. He does a backflip, look how different we are. They show up at the studio to record it. A TRL Billboard modern rock hit. They auto-tune Blake, but he can't tell. He says, I've got perfect pitch. Damn, I sing well. Pro Tools, Logic, cut, copy, paste. Quantized solos in quantized bass. Signed, sealed, delivered and sent across the US, and the single went. Momentum builds, but it all caves in. Industrial comes back, the Prez needs an in. Marty finds a band called Fetal Coil, and Hearts That Hate try to keep their fans loyal. They rework their sound for album number 2 as Machines of Hate, but their career is through. They break up and work pushing mops and brooms. Blake gives guitar lessons in his living room. Blake gives guitar lessons in his living room. Blake gives guitar lessons in his living room.
Can you teach me track 5, Mr. Blake?
Hey, I wrote that song and it goes like this.
I love MC Lars. I think, look, I know a lot of like background. Dude went to Stanford, got an English degree. He's a smart guy. I believe he did some post-grad work in England. Like, he is a sharp lyricist. He has a good eye for the culture, in my opinion. And I will just say this: I have met him. I met him briefly at Warped Tour, and he is just a super genuine dude. He was selling his own merch, right? He was at the merch table himself selling it. And I got to meet him there. I got to go up on stage during his set. During, what's that song? Ska's Not Dead? What is that song called? My apologies, Lars. I got to look this one up. It might be Ska's Not Dead, but I don't want to... I don't want to just say that that's the name of it. What I remember is he got us on stage, and we all skanked, and then he led a huge circle pit up and around the field, in the area that they were playing. And like, man, it's just such a cool, accessible dude. He does a lot. He does comics. He does he's done TED Talks. Why can't I find this ska song? Is it off the Laptop EP? Well, anyway, there's a song about ska, and I can't remember it. My apologies. That was great content right there. Me scrolling my phone looking for a song, the title of which I cannot remember. Anyway, this song, this is from 2006-ish, which means bands like Hawthorne Heights were getting huge. Hawthorne Heights, MCR had released Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge very recently. The Used had released In Love and Death pretty recently. Senses Fail was getting popular. Simple Plan was getting popular. Right, a lot of these bands were on like their first or second albums. Alkaline Trio was still big. So you've got a lot of these. Look, I'm not going to say anything bad about Hawthorne Heights. I love Hawthorne Heights. Chiodos might have been a little bit later, 2007. I feel like 2007. Anyway, I have a lot of love for these bands, and it's one thing to make music that you love because you love it, right? Whether it sounds like somebody else or not, that's irrelevant to me. If you're making music that matters to you, lyrics that matter to you, because you love it, because you feel like you need to do it, totally fine. And I think Lars would agree, right? The point is not if you're making music that sounds like other music. The point is if you are making music that is appropriating a genre or an aesthetic simply so that you can be commercially successful, that kind of sucks. The real key in this one is when he says, the fan base is going away, so they rework their sound and rebrand for the next album. Now, if you want to change your sound, again, that's totally fine. Artists change their sound all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's about honesty, though, for me, right? If you change your sound because you want to experiment and stretch and try to do something new, you don't want to make the same album 3 or 4 times in a row, that's totally cool, right? Even if I don't like the new sound, I support it. I endorse it because it means that you are creative. You are interested in growing as a band, stretching your visions and stretching your limits. I think that's awesome. That's not the point of this song. The point of this song is you are marketing a product to fans so that they will buy your stuff. And you will change in order to keep your fans rather than finding new fans, for example, right? Like I said, you are certainly not required to make the same style of music album after album. But you shouldn't go chasing commercial success. One, because it's hard to do. You're not likely to find commercial success whether you want it or not, because most musicians don't, right? It's hard. It's a hard industry to break into. There's so much music. There's so much for people to listen to. People don't have the attention span a lot of the time to give you a real look, right? They give you 10 seconds, they move on to something else. So it's generally a losing proposition to chase the audience anyway. But the people that like your music, the people that like what you do, they will be there if you are authentic. They will stick with you, even if the aesthetics change, even if the general environment for that kind of music changes. There will still be people who rock with you, right? Because they respect what you do, your music means something to them, and they know it means something to you. This is why I have so many hangups with MGK and his new pop punk project. And again, I understand, as I have mentioned in a couple of my MGK videos, he's kind of an OG, okay? I know he loves that kind of music. I know that is what he came up on. We are basically the same age. So we were listening to the same bands when we were in middle school and high school. I know Blink-182 was a huge influence on him. He was in SLC Punk 2, which is a sequel to one of my favorite movies of all time, SLC Punk, which, if you haven't seen it, it's an excellent movie. Matthew Lillard is in it. And Jason Segel, the guy who played Marshall in How I Met Your Mother, he's in it. It's an early role. It's a fantastic movie. And it's like DIY. It's underground. The first one was like no budget. The second one, they kickstarted it. And MGK signed on to be in it. And so I have a lot of respect for that. But the music, I know he's doing the mainstream sellout thing. I know he's kind of doing commentary on the reaction that this shift from rap into pop punk / emo punk has taken. I know that he's commenting on the fact that people are like, you're selling out, blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't know his heart, right? But I do know that when I listen to his current music, it just doesn't feel genuine. And that may not be his fault. That may be the fault of his, agents and marketing team and label. And, they may be pushing him to do stuff creatively that he doesn't really want to do. I don't know any of that background stuff. All I know is when I see Hearts That Hate, right? And I see this commercially packaged band that is, out there for the purposes of making the label money, I get those vibes. And, again, I don't want to be disrespectful, right? Because he's a musician. He's trying, right? It's hard. right? He's putting himself out there. He's trying to make music, and I support that. Making music is tough. I just don't know. I just don't know how much of it is authentic, right? And that's what gets me, is authenticity. That's what I care about. And to bring it back to this video, that's something that Lars has done his whole career, as far as I can tell, right? Either he's really, really good at faking it, or he just is this guy that I think he is, which is a goofy, nerdy, smart guy who really likes rap, really cares about it. You know, he's making EPs based on Edgar Allan Poe, who I love, but also he's doing literary devices in songs. My partner's an English teacher, and she has used his work in her class, and by no means is she the only one, because it's good, right? He actually knows English. He knows how to write this stuff in a way that is both accessible and educational, right? He's like modern day Schoolhouse Rock, Schoolhouse Rap, I guess. And I really appreciate his work. He's been pretty influential in my musical taste, musical development. First song I heard from Lars ever was Hot Topic Is Not Punk Rock, which is probably one I'll do on the channel at some point. It's a great song. And it is, again, about the commercialization of this aesthetic that comes from a place of true pain for most people, right? This lack of belonging, this feeling of being an outcast, an outsider, not being part of the group of kids that you want to be a part of, really, right? Everybody wants to be popular. Even the kids that don't want to be popular want to be popular. You want to be liked. You want people to want to be around you. And this aesthetic of, you know, goth or emo, part of it is an expression of, this is how I feel, right? I'm depressed. I'm fucked up. My life is terrible. My parents suck. My town sucks. You know, I was assaulted, whatever. Part of that is an outward expression of how you want people to understand what your life is like. But part of it is also signaling to other people who might be like you, right? Look at how I'm dressed. Look at my eyeliner. Look at my hair. We probably have things in common, and we can be a group together, and we will be stronger. Maybe we won't get bullied, because 2004, if you looked like Gerard Way in a public school, you were probably getting shit for it. So if you got 3 or 4 kids together who can, you know, you can listen to the music together, you can be support for each other, you can commiserate, you can sort of be each other's defense against bullies. That maybe isn't as big of a problem now, but certainly in the early 2000s it was. Gender expression was not nearly as accepted in 2005. I can just tell you that with no reservation. And then you take this and you commodify it and you sell it as a product, as a way to be cool. And on the one hand, it's nice, right? It's like, hey, yeah, the music that we were listening to because we were fucked up, the music that we were listening to because we were crying at night, because we were so miserable, because nobody liked us, because we didn't have any friends or whatever. It's nice that that music is starting to get appreciated as more than just like music for sad people. But then it becomes commercialized and it becomes repackaged and the heart is taken out of it, right? It's like taking a political focused musician and then having them do a song that's like a political party anthem, right? You lose some of that fire. And that's what people are attracted to. People are attracted to authenticity. They can sniff it out. They can tell if you are, generally they can tell if you are not for real. And I appreciate that about Lars. He's just kind of been the same dude as long as I've been listening to him. And I think that's very admirable. I don't know how he is doing financially. I don't know what his record sales look like. I don't know what his, income has looked like. But I would be willing to bet he had opportunities to, do bigger things. I mean, look, he had Weird Al on a song back in like 2008. All right. It's not like he hasn't had success. I just don't know. I don't know what level of success he could have attained had he, possibly not been so committed to the DIY ethic. It seems to be really important to him, and I really respect that. I've kind of rambled a little bit here, but look, this is kind of a formative song, right? This is a formative artist for me, and I want to really get into it. And also, as I mentioned, this is a song that I was thinking of during another review of a song that seems to be appropriating this kind of culture, and it's crass and it's unattractive, I think. That'll do it. All right, enough. Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe out there. Drink lots of water and be nice to each other.